becoming a seasoned warrior of Christ on seed retention. Hey, how are you guys doing? Oh, it's quite long time no see. I have been quite slacking on making and uploading videos, but I am back here, and tonight I was going to talk about again becoming a seasoned warrior of Christ on this seed retention. As a non-native speaker of English, I really like the word season. You know how this same word can be used in different such situations, right? Like when you have a really good steak or a really good cuisine or a plate, like you have really good food, and a lot of times that plate or that dish includes a great seasoning, and most of the time, whatever it is, that seasoning, it takes some time. Like, I am no great cook myself, but you can discover this in across many fields of life, really. Like, you can you can really make an observation of some great cook. They marinate, like they stir up some eggs, sugar, milk, flour, uh those kind of stuff, and really they marinate, and like some things they need to be fermented, and all of those procedures, they take time, and hence the word seasoning. I think that is what where that word comes from, the season. In other words, like in other contexts, which would mean the change of seasons, like the summer, spring, summer, fall, and winter. Like how the weather changes throughout the year. And another thing I think of when I think about this particular word season is I think of a seasoned warrior, and particularly I think of Dustin Poirier, this UFC fighter. And I remember one of the famous commentators. Maybe it was ESPN, maybe it was even Daniel Cormier, or maybe it was someone else. But anyways, I remember this one commentator speaking on Dustin Poirier, that Dustin Poirier is a seasoned warrior in the game of fighting sport. And uh, mm, I couldn't have agreed more. Like, I watched that fight live when Dustin Poirier knocked out Benoit Saint Denis, that French guy who was 7 or 8 years younger than Dustin Poirier himself. And yeah, commentating on that fight, that commentator spoke of Dustin as the seasoned warrior. And if you look back in your life, and as I look back into my retrospect, when I didn't have any knowledge of seed retention, and I was just a regular guy. I'm not speaking in a condescending way right now. I'm still a regular guy, but what I mean by I was a regular guy is that, like, I was a one of the whole world. Like, God knows everything in advance. So he knew, like God knew, that one day I would come to the realization that being addicted to porn and masturbation is taking me nowhere, and it is only giving me more feelings and emotions and sentiments of emptiness. And it was just, as a whole, it was minus. It was doing a net worth, like, I mean, it was doing in total of a destruction, and stealing my energy, stuff like that. Yeah. And yeah, as I look back in my life, as I was a regular guy that was just didn't have no problem with myself being addicted to porn and approximately maybe just jacking off at least twice a week, twice or three times a week, and at times like at some other times it would be like a daily routine for myself, like me in the past, maybe the years before years 2019 and before that I was like that, right? And like mm, and at those times I was obviously I was no threat to the kingdom of darkness. I was no threat, or if I was any threat to the kingdom of darkness, I had very little influence. Not that I have any power uh, in and of myself. It is all thanks to God, all thanks to the Most High. If I have gained any knowledge and any strategic upper hand over the kingdom of darkness, it is all glory be to God. But any yeah, really, looking in retrospect, because I was little to no threat to the kingdom of darkness, I really didn't have to go through any significant spiritual battles. Like I was like a newcomer or less than that. But since February of 2022, that was when I made up my mind, and it wasn't exactly that I made a vow with God or even with myself, but I really did made up my mind. I really did make up my mind to just I was doing probably I was doing some self pep talk, and I was saying to myself, I'm enough with this. I'm done with this being addicted to internet nudity, all of those stuff. And um by the grace of God, I was able to go 13 months cold turkey, not even peeping. And that particular experience, that 1 year and 1 month of just retaining my seed and not touching myself, and growing in the spiritual world and growing with Christ, that was so much of a precious event that ever happened in my life. It was a very precious experience for myself. And yeah, and as I was walking step by step into this journey of spiritual growth, and just breaking all kinds of lower vibrational activities and addictions, I found myself in more and more spiritual battles. And I am not much of a fighter, but although I do try to go to a boxing gym and train at least twice or three times a week, I'm 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 not too talented in the combat sport or whatnot. But I realize and I know that I am now um a seasoned warrior of Christ. I admit that I still have lots to learn about the kingdom of God, and lots to learn about the skills and like the relationship skills, and like just how to deal with other human beings and stuff like that. And some things due to just my natural self, like what I'm born with. I'm very much of a introvert, and I like to keep to myself very much. Anyways, but I just know now, I just for sure know now that I am already a seasoned warrior of Christ. Somewhat like I would liken myself to Dustin Poirier in some sense. In a sense that I am a seasoned warrior, and I know some tactics, although the tactics don't do works for me. But the or what cleanses my heart is God. the Most High, and His Word is what inspires me and what cleanses my heart as a whole. But I know how to escape some stupid and some foolish times that I could spend more time on, like those internet nudity. You know, I could run, I could take a cold shower, and 2 or 3 more dozen things I could do. Like I know from experience, from empirical evidences that I have obtained through just executing. So anyways, I would be really glad to know in the comment section if you feel quite the same. Like if you've been, like, it doesn't matter if you've been on this seed retention journey for like 5 days, even 2 days. You know, God, like I said earlier in this video, God knows everything in advance. He is almighty. He is all powerful. His knowledge is infinite. So it doesn't even matter if you just started to if you just started your seed retention journey 15 minutes ago, man. Like God knows the journey ahead of you, and you and but especially if you have practiced seed retention for more than like 4 weeks or 8 weeks, like half a year, 2-3 months, something like that. You know you are a seasoned warrior of Christ, and because of that, for that reason, Satan, the enemy, will come up against you, and he will form and put traps in front of you. He will put hurdles and obstacles, but do not be surprised. It is obvious that just means you are a huge threat to the kingdom of darkness, and rejoice in that fact. And I wish you guys all well, and be strong in the Lord, and never get weary or never get tired in doing the good works. So that was all I wanted to speak on in this video. Thanks for watching. My name is King David, and I will see you in the next video very soon. Peace. I love you guys. Bye. Bam.